So much for joining me for today's lecture related to the use of artificial intelligence tools in order to work in regulatory affairs or in clinical research or in any other field related to the pharmaceutical sciences. Of course, artificial intelligence is a new tool. It has been used and it has lots of potential. We are using that in order to be our assistant. It means that it's not going to give us the final solutions for now. And obviously, we will always need to have human interaction and human, I would say, involvement. However, I'm sure that you remember those days when you were going to any search engine and then you were searching for a topic and then you were having all of those different uh, links on the search engine page, and then you were having sponsored ones, non-sponsored ones. You had to go back and forth, opening different documents. You were spending so much time, I would say, by going back and forth, opening, closing, assessing, evaluating, thinking if you would be able to find or use some information from the search engine. Now with artificial intelligence tools such as U.com, Perplexity.com, ChatGPT, Bing, or I would say, sorry, Copilot, Bard, any other of these, of course, they all have different algorithms, they have different speed of processing, they may have some limitations. Some college universities, they also allowed their students and professors to use different AI tools. I mean, like ChatGPT or Copilot or U.com in order to log in using their credentials, emails from the university or colleges, so that their research would be kept private. Okay, this is okay, but why I'm talking about the use of AI in the workplace? I know that we will always have people with different schools of thoughts where we may say, okay, no, we should not use AI, it should be original, we should write everything from scratch. This is one way. But the other way is to save time. The other way is to be creative as well. Not saying that not using AI is not creative, of course not. But what I'm saying is that there is the new reality here, which is the use of AI, not just for writing, because AI is not just ChatGPT or Copilot, okay, or U.com, but that's because using these tools that we call artificial intelligence is going to add some automation, and the automation is going to give us some acceleration of what we do. You know very well that when we are accelerating, we may also make mistakes. Obviously, when you're also going to generate some text in perplexity.com or u.com, you're going to find out some texts that are not maybe adequate. Okay, we also have some issues with the copyright, obviously, and we have a Copyright Act in Canada as well as in other countries, not all countries, but about 75% of countries in the UN, they do have an act for the protection of the intellectual property of people that we call again the Copyright Act. So in Canada we have one as well, and it's important that when we are using again even any reference, we have to write down about the source, and that source is going to give some validity as well to what we are writing about. Now when you're using again those text generating AI tools, they do have access to limited data. We know that. They also have access to non peer reviewed data. We know that as well. However, this way will mimic exactly what you have been doing when searching on a search engine, opening and closing, checking, validating, etc. And they would do this faster. So I would say that this is like an assistant. And here I'm not talking about as an academic here. I'm talking about a business person, about again as being a CEO of a consulting firm. And what I'm telling you is that when I'm hiring you, I want you to use all of the tools necessary that you deem necessary, of course, and you need to know about these tools, even if you don't use them, at least to know what's happening with the technology. So what I'm going to show you today is to go over a few documents that companies they can make when they are making different files for their submissions. Here I'm going to choose module 4 of the Common Technical Document, or CTD, that we use for the registration, I would say application of the registration of a product, or maybe for a clinical trial, where in module 4 as well we are having several documents. And those documents are, of course, coming from the internal company documents. So, for example, if you're having, again, drug interactions here, we know that this is, again, information coming from the company. But we also have some other references that are from outside the company. You see here, for example, here we go over reference number 876. So what I'm saying here is that while we have to write something which is creative and unique, we will also need to use some tools in order to go over the research within our documents. And as long as we have a type of AI, I would say generative AI in our company, and many companies started to have AI within their companies, so they are not open to the internet, they are inside. They do give access to all of their information within the company, and then employees can now easily go to interfaces like ChatGPT, like U.com, like others as well that you may not even have heard of, and those again AI tools are able to search within the company documents. You already have that type of search if you have Windows or Macintosh, for example, because any information is indexed. And when you go to search, you can easily search, but the search is going to show you only the place or the file in which we may have you can find the search the keywords that you're using. But the artificial intelligence, again, generative text tools, they give you a text, they review the text, and they give you a draft. I repeat, a draft. So for you, it's always good, and again, I recommend to everyone to know how tools are working. So you need to know how Grammarly works. You need to know how automations are working. You need to know how to create a database using even Microsoft Access, obviously, because you may be doing data entry as well, and you may be doing some search criteria in any database. But we also need now a new tool, which is AI. This is my opinion. So now I'm going to give some examples of the use of U.com, which is another artificial intelligence for generating text on internet, which is free and online. And I'm going to show you again how companies, they may use the tool as a draft. But don't forget again that this tool is online, so it will only show me anything which is publicly available. However, in a company, we will look into whatever is publicly available as well as what is not publicly available, because we gave also access to the company data to the internal artificial intelligence tool as well. So for this, for example, you see we have drug interactions, primary pharmacodynamics, absorption, distribution, metabolization. Let's go and see how companies are going to use these tools as an assistant to generate a draft. And of course, to find out some literature. It's not a perfect work, but this is just giving you a draft for doing the job. So when we look into that, you can go to U.com and you can write, not you, but in a company, we write primary pharmacology of Ozempic with a list of references at the end of the content in APA format. That's because we have to be precise when we are going to use AI. For this type of AI, because as I told you, this is not the only AI that we have. We have lots of different tools in AI, integrated artificial intelligence algorithms for different tools. We look at the trends, we look at the, I would say, the trend analysis. We also do statistical analysis, we do data analysis, we also do some type of, again, modelization as well. And this is just one of the reuses of I would say U.com. So when you click primary pharmacology of Ozempic with list of references at the end of the content in APA format, it will give you, it will generate this for you. Okay, the text: introduction, mechanism of action, pharmacokinetics, clinical efficacy, etc., with references. And where it's coming from Daily Med. Okay, so this is a relevant information as long as we also have references that you can always check as well. But this is just a good way to prepare a draft of your document in Module 4, for example, for primary pharmacology. Now, the same thing applies to, secondary pharmacology. So we write secondary pharmacology of Ozempic with list of references at the end of the content in APA format. This is the command, and the AI tool is going to give us the secondary pharmacology of Ozempic because it knows, based on, again, the publicly available information, it's going to use the information from different websites, and then we will be able to look into that. You see here, it also gives us almost the same references that the previous again search command that we used. Okay, so I'm not saying that this is perfect, but for many of the documents that we use, we don't know too much. I'm going to show you some other documents where we don't know, but still this is an information that we don't know. We write it down. We may not even have any literature references, because if it's not there, there is no reference to say that there is nothing there. But this is one way to use that. Now, if you would like to go back again to different, again, the structure of the module 4, you will see that we have, again, pharmacology, primary, secondary, safety pharmacology, again here pharmacokinetics as well, absorption, distribution, etc. And the content of all of the information here that you can find, of course, you don't have access here publicly to your internal company documents. But what happens is that, again, these are going to give us a good idea, some content to at least start a document, while you will need to test and check, of course, the validity of each of the documents. But this is a good draft to me, not just to me. In a company, we look into accelerating some, I would say, activities, but of course, keeping the high quality as well. So coming back to, again, another search that I did, it's safety pharmacology of Ozempic, with list of references at the end of the content in APA format. So here we are looking into, again, introduction, effect of Ozempic, precautions, and references. So you see, it gives us a good draft, something acceptable if, of course, we check it once, but it will accelerate our job. The same thing applies to here, it should be pharmaco, okay, pharmacodynamics of Ozempic and drug interactions with list of references at the end of the content in APA format. So here again, we are going to have access to publicly available information about the pharmacodynamics of Ozempic. And this is very similar to the content that we have to add into our module 4. But don't forget, again, this is just a draft. We use this as an assistant. But this is an acceptable content if we have checked this against the references. So we can use it as well. And of course, as an RA professional, or again, any pharmaceutical sciences professional in the industry, we just need to start somewhere, and then we can also, and we will have access to the company data in order to give a comprehensive and very professional data as well. Now just continue with the idea. So here, that's pharmacokinetics and analytical method validation for Ozempic. So here again, we do have a few. Here, I just use another command, which is pharmacokinetics and absorption of Ozempic with list of references. So as you see here, for this is a drug, it can be any drug. So this is the title of the document in the CTD, for example, for which I wanted to just have a very first draft and build on, and of course I can build on that information and provide a professional report. It also gives me a few, not all of the references. Okay, so always take or use these tools with a grain of salt. Another research that I did as well, that was the pharmacokinetics and distribution of my drug. And of course, I asked this tool to give me also a few references, and here the list, here you see the all of the references, and I do have, again, not a very comprehensive list, I would say, but I have the list of the pharmacokinetics and distribution of Ozempic. Now, I also looked into single dose toxicity of Ozempic, and I asked for a list of references. So here it gives me those. Again, you can always refer to internal documents of a company in order to add more information about this. Don't forget that in this the module 4, in each of those sub-modules, we need to add I would say not the list, but we have to write the study reports of all of the studies. But again, it's not publicly available. So this tool is giving us again a draft, a very, very simple draft of again the document that we want, and it also gives us some references to start with. We can also look into the repeated dose toxicity of my drug, and here it gives me again some doses, some, I would say, some references as well. And again here, as you see, it wasn't able to drill down, so it gives us again some sources. We'll have to go and search for those sources that are again relevant, even if we will have all of the relevant sources within the company for non-publicly available information. Another one is about the genotoxicity. If there is nothing, of course, it says that no, there is nothing as well. Then another type of question, I would say, is about the carcinogenicity of Ozempic. So here we are going to again look into this information that we can use. We can also look into the reference here, where you see this is coming from Daily Med. So this is coming from the product label, the official approved by FDA product label of Ozempic. So as you see, this tool is not always generating nonsense, of course not. This tool or these AI tools for generating of a text, they can also search within the relevant, I would say, source of information, but they don't give you again all of the information that you need. Still, this is a good beginning for writing those documents. And of course, we always refer to the internal documents of a company. We can also look into the reproduction and development toxicity of Ozempic. So again, here we have some information, not enough, but this is just the beginning. We can also look into local tolerance of Ozempic. So here I just talk about one. Again, here we don't have, again, too many of those information, but as you see, the reference is not here. So again, this is just a draft of that. And of course, at the end, what I also did, what was just looking to the metabolites. So metabolites of Ozempic, these are the metabolites. Again, they give you, I would say, a point to start, a starting point, where you can always look into the metabolites and then to go to these different references, and of course to find more references as well, relevant references, and then you can now add information to each of these different, I would say, sections based on publicly available information. But if we are in a company, obviously we will have enough information from internal and non-public information from the company. So I hope that you liked again this topic about how to use again artificial intelligence tool for the generation of the text, and of course for doing a search, where they accelerate the search, they give us a draft, but the draft gives us some ideas. At the end, we write it, we have to stay creative, we have to start from scratch, but this type of accelerated, I would say, search is allowing us to think faster. It allows us to start somewhere. It allows us to look into what are the publicly available information. Obviously, for new drugs, we don't dispose of too many publicly available information unless this is for animal studies. That's why I chose module 4 of the Common Technical Document, or CTD, because this is where companies, they are funding for the studies, and then they will of course publish them. These are universities that will publish them as well. Now if you're having again a drug already approved in another country like Ozempic in FDA in the US by FDA, in this case we also have access to the product label that we call product monograph in Canada. However, again, that the information may not again be complete for writing a new drug submission for Health Canada if you would like to again put Ozempic on the Canadian market. But what I'm saying again here is to be aware, to become aware of the tools that we have out there, because we can use these tools internally within the company, and then we can now manage or decide or limit, I would say, to give unlimited information on the company documents to these tools, and then employees will be able to use this type of tools internally using the valid, accurate, and correct information that are internal. This is why I always again recommend to my employees, my students, to learn about the tools, not to allow the tool to replace them, but learn about the tools, because AI is here to stay, and this is just a tool that we use in order to accelerate our search. Thank you so much again for your attendance. I hope that you enjoyed this lecture, and I wish you all a very good day. Thank you.